I am 28, single, mostly unemployed, and I live with my parents. And this is the story how surprisingly sitting in the shameful feelings of being lost and a failure is consistently teaching me how to be a better human being. I hope this makes other people in the same boat feel a little bit less alone in this, and gives some tools to make the season feel a little less heavy and like something we need to hide from the world. So that hopefully this is not just a time we need to endure, but actually one that we can use and cherish and fully embrace. Even up until the day I am filming this, I was questioning if I should actually make this video. The urge to only show the positive and the impressive sides of my life is so strong. But life is obviously full of ups and downs, and today I kind of want to talk more about the shadow side. Also, I don't know if you can hear the gunshots in the background. There's a wild boar hunt going on in the hills right now, so please ignore this ambient gunshots in the background. But yeah, talking about the shadow side and the insecure stuff that I'd rather just hide away from completely. Just quickly for context. About a year ago, after 7 years of living in the US and trying to build a stable career in the animation industry as an artist, I ran out of money and kind of also hope to, and moved back in with my parents in our sleepy hometown. That feeling of going from being an independent adult with a car and paying my own bills and cooking my own meals, all that stuff, to waking up in my childhood room again with basically no money in my bank account and not really knowing how to give purpose or direction to my life at the age of 27, now 28, is humbling on the good days and really crushing on the bad days. I think this really is the number one reason that made me cry this year. I've caught myself avoiding seeing friends and family members because I was so scared of the question of what I was doing with my life and what my plans were, and I just really wouldn't know what to say. It's really hard to be kind to yourself if you feel stuck in a constant state of being an immature child again, but also getting older and feeling like time is slipping through your fingers and you're just not that young anymore. That mixture is really difficult to hold, and society has so much to say where we should be at a certain point in our life. And at my age, I should be financially independent, successful in my career, moving forward in my career. I should be living alone or with my partner, who I will probably be marrying in a couple years, and start a family. All stuff that I think I do want, and all stuff that I'm not even close to having. And it's not just society's expectations. I think even worse is my own expectations. The feeling of letting little childhood me and her dreams down. The girl that left said childhood room when she was 18 to move to the US thought I'd be at a very, very different place now. And she would also judge people that were quote-unquote slacking off and not where I thought they should be at a certain age, if I'm completely honest. I've always been a late bloomer, but this past year I've been feeling so much more heavy shame around feeling stagnant while the whole world seems to be moving faster and faster around me. And while it really does seem like everyone else has everything figured out around me and is just cruising, I suspect that there are quite a few people feeling like they are behind in life, whatever that might look like for them. I think I'm a quite optimistic person, maybe even a little bit delusional at times, but I do see on a global scale the world is growing more and more unstable, and life is getting more and more expensive, and the future is getting more and more unsure, and the blueprint that our parents used to building a successful life just doesn't really fit our life anymore, unfortunately, even though some of us really want that to be the case. But still, on the other side, expectations just kind of stayed the same, even though the world changed so much. And it didn't just stay the same. Honestly, expectations maybe even grew higher with social media and constant comparison coming around. So if I look at the world we live in, I think it makes sense that many people feel lost and stuck and like they're not where they should be, while simultaneously also feeling so ashamed about that that they can't open up to the loved ones and the people around them about this. The whole system is kind of designed to making us feel unworthy and then also isolate ourselves and feel like it's our fault and feel like we're alone with this feeling. Which is why I wanted to make this video. Seeing other people shine light on their setbacks in life and to be honest about the feelings that they're most ashamed of makes me feel so held. And it is such a courageous and vulnerable and radical act of love to our fellow humans and ourselves to be honest about these feelings. And I would really love myself and other people to be more open about these things as well, if we feel comfortable to do so. Open about the dreams we had to give up on, and the ex-partners we're just not getting over, and the opportunities we missed out on, or the wrong career path we chose. And looking back at my admittedly still kind of short lifespan and what I got to learn in it so far, it's really only through the setbacks that I learned the lessons that I think I needed to build a truly stable, content and peaceful life. Like, breakups are the reason I deepened my relationship to my friends and myself that now carry me every week. Being unemployed and aimless for extensive amounts of time gave me the space to reestablish my love and a healthy relationship to my art practice and what matters most in my life. Every unhappy day or hour or week or month or year even becomes a catalyst to making lasting and real and sustainable change in my life, which is why I started to call these sad days course adjustment days and not sad days anymore, because they really come with that gift. They are so uncomfortable to go through, of course, especially if it's not just a day you were talking about, but like an entire life season. It is far too easy to identify with those feelings when you're actually stuck in the middle of them and feel like you are the struggle. You always will be a sad and bitter and stuck and unworthy person, or whatever the narrative might be that day. But really what it means is that you are growing. These are growing pains, and everything that grows goes through seasons. I did not think I could make peace with the situation I am in today this year. I didn't think I was going to be able to do that. The self-judgment was just too harsh. But it really helped me to reframe this whole situation from being a year that I wasted, a year that I would rather just forget about and push away, to it being a hidden but very specific and special gift that I need in this moment, and to embrace that gift, or at least try my best to do so. Whatever the lessons in these seasons are, tend to always be exactly the key that we need to move on to the next chapter. I feel like it's kind of like leveling up. This might sound woo-woo, and yeah, probably it is very woo-woo as well. But at least in my situation right now, I can already begin to tell that what I'm learning about myself in this very humbling season in my late 20s is forming to be the basis for stable peace and stable contentness. There's, for example, 3 things that I could identify that actually set me up so much more to have the happy, peaceful life that I hope to have someday. Far more than I would have if I had the impressive career and an amazing paycheck and lots of money and an apartment and a boyfriend and all these things. The first thing is that living at home at 28 made me a more compassionate human being. Like I mentioned before, I'm very guilty of silently judging other people and maybe even blaming them for things they weren't able to achieve, like it's somehow their fault, like they didn't work hard enough or something. And life just beautifully put me exactly in the position of the people I used to judge, where I try my best and I end up basically at square one where I was like 7-8 years ago. It makes me wonder if the countless other people that I was just kind of judging for no reason really deserved that harsh critique from me, if it was my place to critique them. And it opened my eyes to the fact that everybody really is doing their best with the tools they have at the time while navigating this crazy, ever-changing world. And holding that belief now that everyone is trying their best, no matter how seemingly financially irresponsible they are, or how aggressively they drive, or how rude or snappy the cashier is, it makes my life so much easier. It gives me space for compassion for others and for myself. It's like, hey, that could be me. And they're not choosing to be that way. Sometimes life is just difficult, and we're all just trying our best to navigate that. The second thing is that living at home at 28 forced me to really be discerning between what I am taught brings me happiness, what I thought brings me happiness, versus what actually makes me happy and grateful. Once I look behind the insecurity and shame of living at home, I can see all the very simple, non-prestigious things that I'm so grateful for. So much more grateful than success and prestige. Getting to spend a ridiculous amount with my parents and grandparents is one of the obvious ones that I just couldn't see in the beginning. I get to have countless conversations and everyday moments and share a life with a big chunk of the people I truly, truly love that have always been there, so I kind of take them for granted, and that won't always be there. And once they are gone, I'll be so incredibly grateful for all the little times I sat at the breakfast table for too long talking to my mom about life, and the times I went out into the garden to chit-chat with my grandpa about how the lettuce was growing. And I'll be so grateful for these countless extra moments I got to have because I was forced to move back home. Initially just because I wanted to save some money on rent. And it made me realize that it's actually kind of insane how I always felt like I had to hide my friendship to my parents and grandparents. I felt like that meant that something was wrong with me, that they're so high up on the list of people that I love. I felt like romantic partners or friends should be always higher than family, in my age at least. But who says that's true? Being at home, I realized I have a handful of people that I love very, very deeply, and more than half of them happen to be related to me, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's literally just, again, some narrative that I picked up from society of how I thought my life should be. Being estranged to my parents, being very, very close to giant friend groups, that is just not me. I have 5 very close, loving friends, and I have many very close, loving family members, and I'm lucky for that. Just as lucky as someone is who doesn't have any relationship with their parents, and because of that, a group of 20 amazing friends. Like, there's no right or wrong, but it is wrong to fight against what's true for us. And whether I decide to see this as a curse or a blessing depends entirely on how much I want society to dictate my happiness and for how long. Number 3 is that living at home just helps me make space. And this is obviously specific to me, but being at home during these very uncertain economic times as an artist, during the time of AI and all these things, being at home really does feel like a little bit of a safe island. In my situation, for example, I'm splitting utilities and I'm paying for groceries for my parents and obviously my insurance and all that, but I'm not paying rent. And that helps me not being super anxious about making ends meet every month. And even though I'm kind of ashamed that I'm skipping out on that adult responsibility, I also need to be aware that this is an extremely privileged and lucky position to be in at the moment. And not having this constant financial anxiety that I had in LA, and taking any gig and overworking myself, or being super anxious when there was no gigs, not being able to create either. This situation right now finally is giving me the space to create some things that definitely give me lasting purpose and maybe even lasting income someday, like the YouTube channel, for example, or creating a portfolio that really truly feels like me, and working on my personal art and where I personally want to go with my voice. It gives me purpose beyond a paycheck, and I'm utterly grateful for that space in my life right now. So if you are in a similar situation, whatever that might be, if you feel stuck, I hope this doesn't sound too toxically positive, like just think your problems away, it's all in your head kind of thing. Like, no, of course not. I know sometimes life is just hard, and there's definitely also some situations where you cannot find a grain of positivity in it, and that is okay too, and you shouldn't force that. But at least in my experience, it is crazy how like 95% of the challenges in life turn out to be presents and not punishments from life or the universe or whatever you want to call it. So if you feel like it, please take a close look at whatever you're going through at the moment. Ask yourself, amongst all the pain and shame, what could also be the lesson here that might help guide you throughout the rest of your life at the price of some discomfort in the moment. The breakup might really hurt in the moment. But if that's what taught you to enjoy your own company, to listen to your own voice, and find a new, more meaningful connection, then that will make you so much happier than if you would have stayed in that relationship maybe. Being depressed really sucks. But if going through it helps you become a person that can, for the rest of your life, support other people struggling with their mental health and understanding them and helping them through it. And that is a beautiful gift to carry and pass on to the rest of the world. Having to take, I don't know, a job at a grocery store or a cafe instead of working on your dream career or in your dream career. It might give you such meaningful life experience, meeting people that you normally would not have met, having compassion to people for people in the service industry and all the hard work we all take for granted. So many incredibly valuable and humbling life experiences lie in these jobs that will shape you so much more than just effortlessly floating from one dream project to the next. So I'm aware this is not a linear process. I haven't solved existential angst by no means. And the next time someone asks me what I'm doing with my life, it will probably send me spiraling again. It literally just happened like 30 minutes before I started filming this video again. But I know that this is the exact situation that helps me learn to hold my own hand and love myself outside of the boundaries of what society has set up for myself. I'm trying to own the situation I'm in. I'm not trying to reframe it. The lady I just talked to asked me why I moved back to Europe from the US, and I was kind of like, yeah, because Europe is beautiful. But then also I was like, and because I ran out of money, and I want to own that, and I want to learn to own that I'm living with my parents, and I want to retrain my brain. Living with loved ones to survive in a scary world is not something to be ashamed of. On the surface, the goal might always look like success and financial stability and marriage and family and all those things. But really, when I'm 3 times as old as I am now, the one thing I want to be is at peace. And I can only be at peace because of these ups and downs of life. And I think we all can. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this wasn't too rambly, but it's something that is on my mind multiple times every day. And I encourage us all to be open about it. I hope maybe me being open about it helps some people as well. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot. Bye bye.